boys and girls, and welcome to Sunday School. We're so glad you're here with us. And today we're going to be talking about creation. God created everything in the world, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. And our lesson comes from Genesis. And Genesis, what book in the Bible? The first one. You know how to find that. So when we get through our lesson, I want you to go and I want you to look that up. And it's Genesis, the very first chapter. And what's the very first verse? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And all God's creation points to our Creator, because He created everything. As if talking to us, as if taking us by the hand and leading us to the understanding and knowledge of His mercy and His grace and His loving kindness. So let's go ahead and get started on our lesson. And I have a handy assistant with me today, Miss Leanne, and she's going to be drawing our pictures for us today, because I promise you don't want me to draw them. So we're going to be talking about the very first day. Now, I want you to go with me. I want you to close your eyes and think of before God started creating, there was just God. That's all. So close your eyes for a minute. What do you see? You see nothing, right? It was just God. And God said, I think I'll create something. I think I'll create the world. I'll create everything that's in the world. And so God began to create. And before God made the world, there was nothing. No houses, no people, no animals, no sun or sky or land. It was just dark and empty. But God was there. Remember, He was always there. He was there before, He's there today, and He'll be there tomorrow forever. And God decided to make something wonderful. So, on day one, God said, let there be light. And light shone all around. God called the light day, and He divided the darkness from the light to make what He called what? Nighttime. That's right, He made night. And God saw that it was good. And He said, this is good. And that's what God did on the first day. So this is day one. And then the next day, God said, let the sky and the water be made separate from each other. So there was sky and there was water. Now, remember, the water was below the sky and the sky arched over the water. And that's what God did on what day? On the second day of creation. Okay, so on the third day, God spoke, and the waters gathered together to make rivers and lakes and oceans. And once the water was moved around, what did we have? We had dry land. Now, there were mountains and hills and deep canyons and dry deserts. And God had shaped a beautiful world. But God was not finished yet. There still was nothing on the earth that was yet alive. So God said, let there be all sorts of grasses and plants and trees. And guess what? Grass sprang up, flowers bloomed, red and yellow and pink and purple. Every color you can think of was out there. Trees of all shapes. We see trees of all shapes today, don't we? When we see creation today, do we think of God and all the things that He made? So He made berry bushes and pumpkin vines that grew beautiful and bright orange pumpkins. God looked at all the work He had done, and He saw that it was good. It was good. So the next day, God made a special bright light and put it in the sky to shine during the day. And we know what that is, don't we? It's the sun. The sun gives us light during the day. We call that light the sun. And He made the moon and the stars to shine at night. Have you ever noticed how bright it is at night when the moon is full, and then when it's not very full, it's kind of dark, isn't it? So God did a lot of things on what day? Day 4. Now we're on the 5th day of creation. God's been busy, hasn't He? God filled the water and the sky with living creatures. And if you think in your mind, you can think of all kind of things. If you go fishing, if you go to the ocean, just staring up at the sky, we see all kind of things. He put fish and sharks and an octopus and whales into the ocean. Look at there. Very good. Birds flew through the sky. Can you draw us a bird? Birds flew through the sky. Some birds were tiny. Some birds were big. And they were every color that you can think of. And God said, that's good. On the sixth day, God made the land animals. He made little mice and middle-sized anteaters and laughing hyenas and great big polar bears and water buffalo. And you know what he even made? The dinosaurs. The dinosaurs. We've never seen a dinosaur, have we? But he made them. Now the world was a hopping, buzzing, galloping, wiggling, lively place. This was all very wonderful, but the day was not over yet. The next thing that God did was even more amazing than anything he's ever done. Guess what he did? God created man. God called the man Adam. And then later, we all know the story, later he put Adam to sleep because he said, you know what, Adam needs a helper, a helpmeet, a wife. And he put Adam to sleep, and while Adam was asleep, he pulled a rib out of Adam and he created a woman for Adam. And they could think and make things, they could talk to each other and to God, and God loved them very much. And we know what he called them, Adam and Eve, the first man and the first woman. They were his special friends. Adam and Eve lived in a beautiful garden, and that was full of wonderful things that God had made. God looked at all the whole world that he had created. It was exactly like he wanted it to be. He looked around at everything and said, this is good. And let's think about this just for a minute. The world was exactly like God wanted it to be. So we know that God knows exactly what's going on today in our world. He knew what was going on yesterday. He knows what's going on today, and he knows what's going to go on tomorrow. And guess what? It's very, very good. Because God made each of us, he knows us and he loves us. No matter how many people there are in the world, and we know there's a lot of people, God knows and loves each person. We are so special to him that he wants us to love him and be in his special family. So today you think about that, and as you think about your family today, I want you to think about this special day that's Mother's Day. So you be especially sweet today to your mother. And Kat has posted some things online for you to do a neat scavenger hunt and some activity pages that go along with our Bible story today. And I hope that you have a great day today. And as we close our lesson, I want you to pray with me. Let's close our eyes and bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful world that you created. Thank you for giving us friends, for giving us family. We thank you especially today for our mothers, Lord. We love you so much, and we thank you that you love us. And it is in your precious name that I pray. Amen. Bye, friends. See you later.